In this lesson, we're going to learn about how to simplify expressions with square roots. So first thing, going to go over a little bit of terminology. So if n squared equals m, then m is the square of n. So what do I mean by that? Well, say you have 2 squared equals 4, then 4 is the square of 2. Similarly, 3 squared equals 9. 9 is the square of 3, again, because 3 squared equals 9. So nothing too complex there. Then, on the reverse end of it, if n squared equals m, then n is what is known as the square root of m. So, like I said, if you have 2 squared equals 9, that means, 2 squared equals 4. That means 2 is the square root of 4. Similarly, 3 squared equals 9. 3 is the square root of 9 because, again, n squared equals m. N is the square root of 9. However, we also have to note that while 2 squared equals 4, negative 2 squared also equals 4. Again, because you have a negative and negative that equals positive, 2 times 2 is 4. Similarly, negative 3 squared is equal to 9. So that means the square root of 9 is also 3 and negative 3. The square root of 4 is 2 and negative 2. So every number that has a square root has 2 square roots, the positive version and the negative version. And we denote these square roots as the square root of 9 is equal to positive and negative 3. The square root of 4 is equal to positive and negative 2. You know, this could be for, like I said, any number that has square roots. So the square root of 100 is equal to positive and negative 10. So that is just something to note, that for every number that has square roots, it has 2 square roots, the positive and the negative version. So, just a quick definition for us. The principal square root of a number is known as the positive version. So, if you're asked to give us the principal square root of the number 64, well, the principal square root of it would be positive 8. Again, because it's the positive version of the square roots. So nothing too complex there. So we're just going to go through and finding the square roots of certain numbers. So example, what is the square root of 25? Well, again, square root. So what times itself gives us 25? Well, that would be positive and negative 5, where the principal square root would simply be just a positive 5. So again, there's nothing too complex when it comes to square roots. It's just simply figuring out what number multiplied by itself gives us that number. So we'll give you a couple of examples to go through yourself. So first was the square root of 36, the square root of 169, and then what is the negative square root of 225. I'll let you work on those right now. Okay, so for A, the square root of 36, well, what times itself gives us 36? Well, that would be positive and negative 6. Was the square root of 169? Well, that would be the positive and negative 13. And then C, we're asking for the negative square root of 225. Well, that would just be negative 25.